pace, and Ash Hicklin went on to win his class. So we are almost ready for the off then, for a 20-minute race for the RLM Racing Bikesports Championship. They're coming round Club Corner. They'll see the red lights on the gantry. When will they go out? They go out now, and the race gets underway. The drivers must have been craning their necks to see the lights go out there, but it's a good start by Joe Stables from pole position. Ash Hicklin there in second place, but we're going to have to watch some quick guys from towards the back, including yesterday's race winner and the championship leads coming into this weekend, Simon Walker-Hansel. He is right towards the back of the field, but already there you can see him on the right-hand side of your picture, left-hand side of the circuit as they go through Village, having started to make up 1 or 2 places, but he'll have a bit of a stretch, I would think, to try and catch Joe Stables in the lead of this race, Johnny.
Well, a really nice approach to the that first run through Village by Simon Walker-Hansel, staying out wide, not the natural racing line. Big puff of smoke there. That's because of some quick dry laid down partway down Hanger Straight, rather than an issue for Ashley Hicklin, which I thought briefly it might have been. Also pouncing from late on into the link road was Andrew Fido to at least pick off 1 position, and it's going to be neck and neck into the Vale between the 11 car of, well, to the outside Philip Brown, and he is scrapping away with Alistair Smart in the early stages of this 20-minute race.
Yep, so through Club Corner and over the line they come indeed to the leaders already. Well through Abbey on their second lap of the race, and it is Joe Stables, number 95, that leads. He's in one of the Class A cars, the tuned cars, and 16 Ash Hicklin in the production bike engine cars. He's in second place, a second behind, and Leon Morel, who I think actually is level pegging possibly with Simon Walker-Hansel at the top of the championship now after his second place in class yesterday. He's in third position. We're watching there Alistair Smart, number 73, in fifth position. He's second within Class A. Joe Locke behind him is in sixth place. And where did Simon Walker-Hansel come through? He came through 8th at the end of lap 1. You can just see him pretty much in the middle of your shot there. The white car with the grey triangular nose section pointing towards us. So he's up to 8th. We'll see what more Simon Walker-Hansel can do from there.
Down the short straight they go, out of Stowe and towards Vale Corner itself. Joe Stables with a good getaway. Ahead of Philip Brown, then Leon Morel. And it's side by side into Vale Corner. Another place picked off by Doug Carter, who didn't complete a lap earlier today. His car was quick yesterday, though, and managed to qualify in the session yesterday on the third row of this morning's grid. So that car really is out of position in 11th. Got Fido ahead of him, and the number 30 car of Mark Grayson.
Simon Walker-Hansel up to 6th place on that lap, and that's the 86 car possibly in a bit of trouble. That's Stephen Bell, and he's already at the back of the field, isn't he? So he must have started the race late, if anything, Stephen Bell. So he was keeping well out of the way of the cars coming through. So you've got Simon Walker-Hansel there in 6th, Joe Locke 7th, and the next car on track is Stephen Bell, but I think he's actually a lap down. There you can see Simon Walker-Hansel 9.73 seconds behind the race leader in 6th place. Joe Stables is the man to beat at the moment, and he's going to be 2 seconds clear of Ash Hicklin, but we're watching Simon Walker-Hansel for the moment.
Yeah, Stephen Bell was confusing me a little while ago because he was in something like 4th or 5th in road position, but clearly didn't have the pace compared to everybody else on the Hanger Straight. Either was allowing those quicker cars through or just getting himself warmed up. I wonder whether he started the race therefore from the pit lane, has only just completed 1 lap and is about to come round to complete a 2nd lap, whereas the race leader, Joe Stables, has completed 3 laps. To the inside line there will go the number 4 car of Simon Walker-Hansel to pick off Alistair Stewart, and that will give him 5th place.
Okay, so we are watching them head through the link onto the Hanger Straight. There is Leon Morel, who said yesterday he didn't think he'd really got the pace to try and stay with Ash Hicklin today. So far that's proving to be the case, isn't it? Philip Brown there in 4th place. He was 10th yesterday, so big improvement in performance today. Helped by a number of cars retiring from the earlier race, but he's going to have Simon Walker-Hansel to try and defend from in a moment. And Walker-Hansel taking Alistair Smart with him. He's just got past Alistair Smart, but Smart trying to stick with Walker-Hansel as he is about to attack Phil Brown for 4th.
From a long way back, Doug Carter then almost alongside Andrew Fido for 9th position. These 2 cars struggled clearly in the first race of the day, either involved in spins themselves or the avoidance. Doug Carter actually needed outside assistance to be retrieved from one of the gravel traps close to Village Corner. So we're now getting to see what those two cars are capable of. Likewise, Simon Walker-Hansel, who jinks up the inside of Philip Brown to nab 4th position now on the exit of Village.
But you see there, Simon Walker-Hansel is now nearly 15 seconds behind the leader, so he's making progress in terms of positions, but he's losing ground relative to the race leader. His best lap of the race is a 1:05.21. Joe Stables is down into the 2s, a 1:02.82. It's worth pointing out, though, that Stables and Walker-Hansel are in different classes. Walker-Hansel in a Class B car, in that Eco trailer liveried car, that's the family business, and he is not in a Class A car, as Joe Stables is. So Philip Brown there now in 5th. Alistair Smart just behind him, number 73. That's the Radical PR6 with its central seat, single-seater position. It looks like he is going to take P5 before much longer.
Well, he got 2 wheels on the dirt in the braking area for Vale, and then a very violent run through Club Corner as well. The sheer acceleration of these Radicals in the lower gears, quite violent at times actually, and he's been shaken around in the cockpit, Alistair Smart. Still on the boot lid of Philip Brown, no way by just yet, but I agree with you, Smart carrying a bit more speed, just has to fashion the opportunity to get past.
He does indeed, so that's the car that we're watching at the moment. There's Leon Morel a bit further up the road. Number 4, Simon Walker-Hansel, now in 4th position. We'll see if he can chase after Leon Morel for what would be a class position, and important as far as the Class B Championship is concerned, because they are pretty much level pegging on points coming into this particular race. There's Brown with Smart behind him, and Joe Locke just going through shot as well in 7th place. It's going to be Julian Griffiths next up, actually. Here he is with Andrew Fido behind him in the number 12 car. He's in 9th, and Doug Carter, the ex-RGB driver from Cumbria, he's there in 10th position. So Griffiths now under a little bit of pressure here from Andrew Fido as the cars come across the line to complete lap number 6. We've still got about a third of the race to go, 30 minutes left.
And the cars behind these two include Ross Drew and Aaron Ellington. They're pretty much nose to tail, crossing the line for 11th position. Still no way by for Alistair Smart in the 73 single-seater type Radical. PR6 versus the wider car up ahead. Thought for a moment there a car was going a touch wide on the run through Village, but that's how far to the left that corner is in comparison to the link. Very good run for Alistair Smart this time, under the rear wing of Philip Brown, so he'll certainly give it his best step towards Stowe to wriggle up the inside. The problem is the inside line at Stowe only produces the outside line at Vale, and often a rival can get back past at the very next corner. We're concentrating on the fight between Julian Griffiths, who is in 8th place, with Andrew Fido and Doug Carter behind 9th and 10th.
Yep, they are at the moment. Ross Drew is behind them in 11th position. Of course, he was retirement to the pit lane in the earlier race. So this trio coming up to Abbey for the 8th time now. Griffiths managing to fend off Fido at the moment. And just a bit more of a gap between Fido and Doug Carter. Fido having a look to the outside as they go to Village, and possibly looking for the cutback on the exit from the corner. Where does that put him for the link? Well, nowhere useful really, I don't think. He still needs to tuck in behind the number 7 car at the moment, but they now get the run up the straight. And look at this is for 4th place. For 5th place, I should say, Philip Brown and Alistair Smart, and it's Smart that is going through on the inside. Brown trying to cling on around the outside, and he has done it, so that's well defended there by Brown. And Mark Grayson, who went strongly in the earlier race this morning, eventually finishing in 8th place, but he's had a spin, has car number 13. His car has come to a stop. Is that in a difficult position? We'll have to wait and see if we can get going again.
Well, the route that Joe Stables had to take around the stricken Mark Grayson car, I would argue absolutely yes, because he's on the apex of the corner. I was trying to work out exactly which corner it was, because it was a close-up view.
He's got going again, that's good news.
So, was that on the run down to, possibly the run on to the Hangar Straight? Anyway, good news for Joe Stables is, although it'll be a slower lap at the end of this one in avoidance of Mark Grayson, he did get through safely. Grayson is now on the Hangar Straight, so it was just before that, probably coming out of Village, that he had his moment, between Village and the link itself. And the dice involving 3 cars, that still involves Andrew Fido, Doug Carter and Julian Griffiths, has changed a little bit, because last time they came across the line for 8th. Fido was ahead of Carter, in turn ahead of Griffiths.
Ash Hicklin in second place, but he's, as you can see, 14.45 seconds behind the race leader, Joe Stables. Now he's done another, he's got the best lap of the race, a 102.82. Not quite as quick as he managed in the early race when he was into the 102.6s, and that in terms of about a tenth of a second outside Martin Brooks' lap record from 2 years ago.
Streaking across the line, Philip Brown and Alistair Smart. Joe Locke is a touch on his own again. Similar race as that he had earlier this morning, actually. There was a big gap behind and indeed in front. Andrew Fido, though, is going to try and bridge this gap between Doug Carter, who he's recently overtaken, and the car ahead, Joe Locke. That would be for 7th position. Fido, a great run through the order yesterday. Where did he finish in the first race of the weekend, Fido?
He
like
was
5th,
sixth
okay.
in the end in yesterday's race.
I think he had got up as high as 5th and then slipped back a position by the flag, but it was a great charge through the order. He wasn't presented the opportunity to replicate that earlier today, but we are seeing similar racing styles today from Andrew Fido, now at Stowe Corner.
Yep, turning his way through Stowe down towards the Vale. Smart's having another go at Philip Brown here, this time up the inside into the Vale, and there was a touch there between the two of them. You can see the tyre mark on Smart's car, it's delayed Philip Brown. They can see the corresponding mark on his car as well, so he's lost the place, he's gone down to 6th. Alistair Smart into 5th position, and that's going to bring Philip Brown into the clutches of Joe Locke as well, who's 7th.
Yeah, tricky one to read that, because clearly Smart had got the corner but then ran a touch wide coming out, and it was a big old clout that Philip Brown, I should say, had to deal with, and it's now out of the frying pan into the fire for Brown, because Joe Locke is in the queue behind. Andrew Fido's not too far away either, and if these three start to slow one another up, Doug Carter will think he's got a chance to get ahead of a few of them. All a bit wide there for Philip Brown onto the hanger straight as well. So whether that's as a result of the damage which is now being carried by the Philip Brown car, as meanwhile Simon Walker-Hansel, was that Leon Morelli was getting up the inside of on the exit of Stowe Corner. Here comes Fido on Brown. Yeah, he's up the inside and he goes through. He's not taken Joe Locke with him. Oh, he's now got his hand in it. I think he was trying to get into the pit lane there, but he just missed the entrance, did Philip Brown, because I think momentarily he had his hand in the air, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, for the battle for the Class B Championship, that's just going through. Abbey and Leon Morel and Simon Walker-Hansel were side by side there. They're heading down to the village hairpin now, but it looked like we might have a change. Yes, we do have a change. Number 4, Simon Walker-Hansel, goes through village to get ahead of Leon Morel, and that's for 2nd place in the class today. But importantly, Walker-Hansel now getting ahead of Morel and taking points off him in the championship battle between those two. Yeah, back to your point about Philip Brown, I'm not sure whether he wanted the pit lane or just wanted to indicate to those around him that he'd got an ailing car, because the tracking will be well out of alignment now. So he wants to continue, I think. Just a question of having to concede those places to Smart, to Fido, to Locke, to Carter and to Brown, in fact, who are immediately behind him. Here's Simon Walker-Hansel now ahead of Leon Morel for 3rd position into the tight Vale corner. Club corner opens up the more you go around it, and a very rewarding exit as long as you get it right, to clip the curb a touch but not to go too wide onto the Hamilton straight. So Walker-Hansel now having to find something in the region of 9 seconds to, now maybe you were right all along, Ian. Philip Brown did want the pit lane.
You were doubting me there, John.
I couldn't get there a lap ago.
I can't believe that. Yeah, he is there now.
It's always the first time.
I've just noticed that our timing tower seems to have locked at the moment, so I'm going to disregard that for the moment and look at our timing screen to our left, which shows that Joe Stables now leads by 22 seconds from Ashley Hicklin in 2nd place. Simon Walker-Hansel is another 9 seconds or so behind him in 3rd. Stables has just come through to complete his 13th lap. There we're watching the number 10 car of Aaron Ellington, who is 12th on this occasion. He finished a very creditable 9th in the first race, considering it's his first meeting out in Bikesports. So Philip Brown, having come into the pit lane, turned immediately right and through the gap which leads to the paddock. So he presumably hasn't got too many crew members here this weekend, or he just knows that can't be fixed on the spot. We've only got a handful of minutes left in the race, just over 5 of them. That's the Eddie Radical SR4 in the race of number 46, Chris Child. He finished 12th earlier on today and 16th yesterday. watching Andrew Fido again now. He is in 6th position in car number 12. And he is about 2 seconds behind Alistair Smart, about 2 seconds ahead of Doug Carter. That's the Joe Locke car. So you've got actually 2 Cumbrians together in successive positions, linked to Carter and Joe Locke. As over the line comes this battle with Ian Charles and Andrew Gord and the number 9 car of Robert Gilman, and that is for 13th, 14th and 15th positions.
Yeah, so the black car looking up the inside now of Gord to make the move, and it's a neat and tidy one for Richard Gilman. Bit scrabbly on the exit, but he'd already significantly got by, so there was no chance for the 60 car to pounce on the exit of Village. Meanwhile, the number 10, the bright orange car of Aaron Ellington, is under a bit of pressure down the hanger straight by from Richard Hardy. And this is certainly not decided yet for 15th, in fact now for 14th position, as the number 9 car, having made the pass at the start of the hanger straight, having to keep the elbows out once they reach the top of hanger straight and Stowe corner.
4 minutes of the race left to go then, and this RLM Racing Bikesports Championship final race of the weekend for these particular cars. It is still this battle that we're watching, with Charles there in 13th position, Gilman now ahead of Gord then and up into 14th spot in the number 9 car. And these drivers lapping in the sort of 1 minute 6s and 1 minute 7s, whereas Joe Stables has been lapping in the 1 minute 2s. Besides him, no one else has bettered a 1 minute 4.45, I don't think. That's Ashley Hicklin, who's been the 2nd fastest man in this race. But actually there's only about 6 seconds covering all 19 cars in terms of best lap time, so it shows how competitive this RLM Racing Bikesports Champion is, and if you own a Radical or a similar car, this is certainly the place to bring it racing.
Yeah, some real good racing. Certainly yesterday, the earlier race today was spoilt somewhat with the carnage at the start of the race and then the safety car required to clear it up. But this is much more like it. Joe Stables, though, proving to be the class of the field to this point. His fastest lap of the race, a 102.7. The next nearest is actually in the 104s. No one yet into the 103s to attempt to plug that hole. Movement further down the order. Joe Locke and Julian Griffiths still together, but for the moment the focus is on the duo heading into Abbey, Richard Hardy and Aaron Ellington. There is Richard Gilman, who's recently got ahead of Andrew Gord. 2.5 minutes to go. And again, slightly different lines being used now. Is there a drama for Aaron Ellington? He seemed to be a bit slower through Village on the exit than the car in front of him. Lost a bit of ground as he works his way onto the hanger straight.
So certainly heading down there now. That's Doug Carter that we're seeing in 7th position, just ahead of him. In fact, it's the number 12 car of Andrew Fido in 6th place. Alistair Smart in the yellow car ahead of him in 5th spot, as they now have less than 2 minutes of the race to go here. Fido, I'm not sure he's going to make any more progress. He's about 1.6 seconds behind Smart. And there's Ian Charles again. He's caught Aaron Ellington now in that number 10 car. And question whether he might be in a bit of strife, but he's still quite close to the back of Richard Hardy, number 66 there, I think, Johnny.
Yeah, he just dropped away from Hardy through the link section, but actually compare the lap times and it's a small amount drop to Hardy, not a huge one.
Well,
so he's made
it's actually his personal best lap as well, of 107.25.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's amazing with the foreshortening sometimes of a camera lens looking from the start at hanger straight over to Village. It was a different line utilised, but actually a very successful one for Aaron Ellington.
Ian Charles behind him was lapped in the 1 minute 6s though, so he's looking for a last gasp manoeuvre here. Joe Stables, I think, is shortly going to go on to his final lap of the race. Yes, he's just gone over the line now. It's complete 18 laps, so one more lap to go. There's the car of Stephen Bell, who's down there in 17th position in his SR3, I think it's an RSX. And he is just behind Ross Drew on the circuit, but not on the same lap. He's a lap behind Drew here.
Yeah, it's a puzzle like that for Stephen Bell. I think it is just the fact that he wasn't there at the start of the race and joining in one lap already into the 20 minutes timed race. But otherwise, The 86 car showing it to be, well, a pretty quick car. It would have put him in the top 10 had he been able to do consistent laps, same as Joe Locke and Julian Griffiths pretty much. Meanwhile, Ross Drew is completing that top 10, and the 24 car of Ian Charles getting fairly close to the rear of Aaron Ellington. 5 seconds left on the clock.
That means that Joe Stables shouldn't be too far away from the checkered flag then. And there goes the checkered flag to Stables, taking victory then in the latest round of the RLM Racing Bikesports Championship. So number 95, Joe Stables, takes victory. And it's an absolutely dominant performance, this. We need to set the calendar, I think, to see how long the gap is back to Ash Hicklin in second place. There's back markers coming through in between them, of course. And there we can see the checker flag waving for, that's Aaron Ellington and Ian Charles. They are 12th and 13th. And then, oh, there's a car going slow in the background. That is the 66 car of Richard Hardy, who's just about going to get over the finish line, isn't he? There we go. Right, you've made it, Richard. You could stop worrying about that now. Have we had Ashley Hicklin through yet? Yes, we have. He's come through in second place. Simon Wood-Hansel has gone through in third place, number 4. Leon Morales 5th, and 6th, 7th and 8th together over the line there. Andrew Fido, Doug Carter and Joe Locke. Then it's Chris Charlton, his Ezra 4 lap down. Just Julian Griffiths is there as well. He is 9th place, and I think therefore the last car on the leading lap in this RLM Racing Bikesports Championship. So that's the third and final race of the weekend for this particular category. There's still 4 more races to go this season. Anglesey and Snetterton to round out the season, but let's take a look at the results from that race if we can. A dominant performance it was from Joe Stables, who took the victory, managed to complete 19 laps in that 20-minute race with the best lap time of a 1 minute 2.76 seconds, and he beat Ashley Hicklin in the end by 41.09 seconds. That's a real thumping, isn't it? But Ashley Hicklin did win his class, Class B, from number 4, Simon Walker-Hansel in third. 4th was number 1, Leon Morel. 5th was number 12, Andrew Fido, who was second within Class A. And 6th was Alistair Smart, who was third within that class. And 7th, number 5, Doug Carter. 8th was number 8, Joe Locke. 9th was number 7, Julian Griffiths. And then the first of the lapped cars was number 17, Ross Drew. Then rounding out the field, we had Aaron Ellington, Ian Charles, Richard Gilman, Andrew Gord, Richard Hardy, Chris Charles and Stephen Bell, with 2 non-finishers, Philip Brown and Mark Grayson, who retired after that spin midway through the race. So we've got 3 more races to come for you this afternoon. Coming up next, we've got the Tiguar Club Enduro Championship race. Then we've got Historic 750 Formula. Then we've got the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. You can see the cars filtering into Parc Fermé at the end of that race. We'll hopefully hear from our successful drivers. So let's head down to Chris Stevens in the pit lane.
Well, it's back-to-back victories for Joe Stables today in the RLM Racing Bikesports Championship. Were you just cruising out there, or were you pushing still?
I was still pushing. I was still trying to go for that lap record. I don't know if I've got it or not. We'll have to wait and see. But we tried something different. We thought the Avons were quite bad at the rear, so we put some Pirellis on. So we mixed matching tyres to see what it's like, and pretty good actually. A good mix actually. Yeah.
Well, okay. So you were still working on the car, even though it's been so clearly the class of the field today, but you're still making those changes.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you can to find those little attempts here and there, you know, to try and push it further. I mean, we're a 10th off the lap record last session, so you got to try those little things to get that extra bit further, haven't you? So hopefully it did it.
All right. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm sure we double check the lap record and hopefully get that confirmed for you. But in the meantime, congratulations, great victory. Cheers. Once again, mammoth lead of about 37 seconds in the end there. Let's talk to Ashley, who's on the podium for the second time today. That looked quite smooth for you out there.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, just drove my race, just got a good start and just tried to make up good time, and yeah, just tried to build a gap and keep calm.
And of course another class victory for you as well, so all looking good for the championship right now.
Yeah, it is good. I don't know where that'll put me on points, to be honest, without looking until they put them all online. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good.
Well, of course, one of your main rivals, Simon Walker-Hansel, just over your shoulder, managed to make it all the way back onto the podium, so it looks like it'll be tight.
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats to Simon. I think he's done a cracking job, obviously, and as he always does, so always drives smooth and fair, so it's nice.
All right, well, congratulations once again. Let's go and talk to Simon Walker-Hansel. Hansel, more than made up for the disappointment of this morning. Cracking drive through the field.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it more than yesterday's race in front. Yeah, it was nice.
Cool. So how is it coming through this field? I mean, I imagine you have to take it so cautiously on the opening few corners.
The first lap, I got past some of the slow cars without too much trouble. I was expecting it to be more difficult just because there's so many of them. But once I got through them, it was just a case of chasing them down and picking them off. And then I got behind Leon and I was catching him. And then the engine cut out and I had to cycle a master switch and I lost about 3 seconds on one of my laps. I thought if that persists, then I'm going to be in trouble. But look, thankfully, it didn't happen again.
Wow, that's amazing. So you managed to get through that scare and make it onto the podium. Did you expect to be there when you started at the back today?
I was hoping to. I needed to beat Leon, didn't I, for the championship? But Ash was fantastic. Like, he's on soft tyres that shouldn't really have lasted 3 races, and he was really quick. I wasn't catching him.
Well, awesome job. Great watching you come through the field. Ian and Johnny, let's go back up to you because coming up next, it is the main event of this weekend, the Dekiwa Club Enduro Championship.